What you heard. This is the day after. This is the week after the draft. I'm excited. I know a lot of Buccaneers fans are excited for all the moves that we made. I heard a lot of people crying and complaining about the offensive line. I really don't think you're going to hear a whole lot more about that, until around spring training or around training camp. So I would like to introduce my guest. I know some of you guys have seen him around Twitter. Some people have seen him on YouTube. This is Real Talk Perez. He is a Bucs fan, big time. He reps his team in Vegas. He was repping his team when he was in Los Angeles. Hey, bro, thanks for joining me tonight, and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how they can get a hold of you.
Thanks for having me. Real Talk Perez. You can catch me on YouTube, YouTube / Real Talk Perez. Also, same thing with Twitter, at Real Talk Perez. All one word. My Facebook is Facebook / real.buccaneers. Those are basically everywhere you can catch me on ripping the Bucs 24/7.
That's what it's all about, man. And
Yes,
I
sir.
wanted, I'm trying to do a show that's different than everybody else's, because everybody wants to get that player on, and people want to get uh, people, noteworthy people on. I want to get the fans, the,
hmm
the people that are in there, repping the team week after week, and we have a losing season. That's something you got to deal with. And I caught you. I've seen a couple of your videos, and yeah, I thought you were somebody that would be good to have on the show, and just kind of, talk about the Bucks a little bit, because that's what we all love right now. So, with that being said, what do you think about the draft? What are your thoughts so far from what you've looked at?
As far as the draft, I was very impressed, you can say. A little bit shocked, a little bit relieved for the simple fact that I feel in the draft that we got exactly what we needed. It's been a while since we've, at least to me, let me start off by saying everything I say is completely my opinion. A lot of things I say people don't agree with, but I just want to put that out there. But as far as how I feel about the situation, it feels like it's been a while since we've actually drafted, and it felt like they get what we're seeing. Like we needed an offensive lineman. We went doubled down on offensive linemen. Obviously, we went for the quarterback. Um, I feel like the defense, like we already have a strong defense, so we just kept adding to the offense. We did get a linebacker, but it just felt like they know what they're doing. It finally felt like we have a staff that knows what they're doing, knows what they need, and has a what do you call it?
A direction.
Exactly, a direction, and is sticking to it and is going there, and it just feels good to feel like we're in good hands, basically.
Yeah, and I know for me, kind of touching on what you're talking about here, I know going back to Raheem Morris, starting with Raheem Morris, and towards the tail end of John Gruden, it's like,
Mm,
what direction are we going? We have these general managers, and you don't hear from them, and you have no idea. The fan base has no idea what this team is trying to do or what they're trying to accomplish. And
right,
fortunately for us with Raheem Morris, he did get us a 10-win a season. And I can't knock him for that because he was able to accomplish that with the talent that he had. Now, with
right,
that being said, I think the ownership may have dropped the ball, not being able to get Chip Kelly and just kind of throwing their hands up and grabbing somebody just to fill a space, a hot body in a space. Because for me, Greg Schiano was not the answer.
oh
And
no,
anybody that knows me, I will go on record. I used to go to USF games, and I would
hmm
watch Rutgers play, and I always wondered, what in the world is this guy doing? What kind of plays is he calling? So, that's all water under the bridge. But back to my point, uh, the Buccaneers have never had a direction. I mean, not since John Gruden left. And now what you're
right,
seeing is Lovey Smith. A lot of people weren't happy with the moves that he made. I can tell you honestly, I wasn't happy with getting rid of the offensive lineman that he did. But in the long run, he's got a vision. And
right.
him and Jason Light are on the same page, and they're going in the same direction. And that's what you need here. That's a
Yeah,
start. That's a big
I
start to me.
agree. I agree 100%. I feel a lot of people are not happy with some of the moves that Levy made, like you said, but they had a plan. I think this year that happened, I think they were trying to. I honestly think we got lucky, to be honest, because the good thing about Collins not working out and Johnson not working out is if they would have worked out enough, we could have still been stuck with them. And I'm kind of glad we just cut ties and moved on, and we're in such a better place. Maybe not as far as cap wise because we're still paying for them, but we're in as a team. I think we're in such a better place to have not only the pieces we need, but to be able to have them young, lock them up, and keep this team together for a long period of time. You know.
Yes, I 100% agree with you, and I love what Jason Light is. I love what he's saying. I love the message he's getting out to the fans. He's
Hmm.
actually a general manager that's out here milling around with the fans, and he's not hiding in his office like Mark Dominic was, where we didn't know what was going on from one moment to the next. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy on all ends of it. The biggest surprise to me was the fact that we have another wide receiver, a slot wide receiver, who personally I didn't think would be available in the draft by the time that we got to him, but I'm really happy that we did with Bell from
Right.
Nebraska. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what he brings to the team, and I think that he will earn a spot on this team.
Right. I really hope so. Um, I like to consider myself someone that watches tape and like to see what people's special skill sets are and stuff like that. When I watch this tape, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I looked at him and I said, wow, like the way I did Mike Evans. I didn't. I'm not really a college football person. I think now I will be because they have playoffs now. Before I really wasn't into college because it was like either they're gonna hit the BCS or they're not. So it was like why you got one loss? Okay, what's the point of the season? You're not gonna win the championship.
Right.
But when the draft comes, I always Google or I'll YouTube top 10 wide receivers or whatever it is I think we're looking for. I'll look for the top 10, and I won't pick a certain person just because everyone's saying this is the number one wide receiver. I look at what they do, what I think we can use from them, and I fell in love with Mike Evans. So when I popped tape of Kenny Bell, um, it was nothing like that. But when I seen him, I just was like, okay, this is somebody who let them worry about Mike Evans, let them worry about Vincent Jackson, and this guy's gonna be killing them softly in the inside in the slot. And
Yeah.
I think I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked a little bit that Lewis Murphy, he was doing good, then he was kind of missing. So I wasn't like I was like we gotta get Lewis Murphy, replace him or something. I wasn't nothing like that, but I think that pick was more of a like I said, get young, and
Yeah.
not only that, but I think Kenny Bell, his ceiling looks like could be higher than Lewis Murphy. Obviously, I feel like we already reached Lewis Murphy's ceiling. That's my opinion. But
Mhm.
the ceiling could be higher, maybe with Kenny Bell. And not only that, but I think they were doubling with the punt kick return. He also kicks and punt returns. We also got Kalen Clay, I believe that's how you
Yeah.
say his name,
Kalen Clay.
and he's going to be for a punt kick return. And I don't think they knew if they were going to get him or not. So that was another reason why they got Kenny just in case. But we got Kalen Clay as well. But yeah, I think it was a very good pick. I
Yeah,
like it.
and with Kenny Bell, I love how physical he is. I've
Yes.
seen so many times where he's pushing DBs on the ground. He's putting them on the ground and keeping on running. And
What?
his yards after the catch is real nice too.
Uh, one thing that I've been thinking about, if you notice, Vincent Jackson, Safarian Jenkins, Austin Safarian Jenkins, Mike Evans, all these guys block hard. And Kenny Bell, another guy that can block hard. If this line is just decent with our wide receivers blocking, though we've seen Mike Evans block the heck out of that, guy from
Yeah,
the
from
Bengals.
Cincinnati.
I
Yeah,
mean, we could have a serious run game. Like if the
yeah.
line gets well, all these wide receivers that are huge threats and they block good, and Safarian Jenkins is a heck of a blocker.
Oh yeah.
We can have some serious trouble with that run game, man. I mean, this
Oh,
this team is
absolutely.
becoming beautiful.
Yeah, and another thing that you got to consider is we have an offensive coordinator. This is the point
Hmm.
that gets missed
Oh,
by so many
yes.
fans, and
Oh my
I get sick of
gosh.
mentioning it because it's a fact. This guy, Dirk Cotter,
Yes.
he's talking about a more up tempo offense. We haven't seen an up tempo offense in Tampa for a long time. I mean, you got to go back to 2010 when Josh Freeman was the quarterback, and we were making those moves and we were winning those games. That was the last time we really had that kind of up tempo.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about before. I had mentioned this is what the first time in a long time since we've had an offensive coordinator who this isn't his first year being an offensive coordinator. For
Right.
a long time, we've had back to back to back offensive coordinators who've never done it in the NFL before. And not only do we finally have a veteran offensive coordinator who has done it in the NFL before, but he's done it very well in the NFL
Oh,
before. So
absolutely.
this is such a big difference from what we're always having. It's going to make a
Most
big difference.
definitely. Most definitely. I mean, you look no further than Matt Ryan and what Dirk
Mm,
Cotter was able to do to improve his game from 2011, the way he was, to 2012, which was like a coming out party for him. And I think
right.
Jameis Winston is going to benefit from this. I think Mike Glennon is going to benefit from this as well.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so
I
I
believe it.
just think that we're slowly but surely building depth in certain positions, and I really do
Mm,
believe that we will compete for the NFC South. A lot of people might
yeah.
think I'm crazy. I get sick of people talking about 500. You can feel that way if you want to. I won't be disappointed if we don't get 500, but at the same time, that's what I'm hoping for. So
Right.
that's how I'm looking at my team.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm a Yankees fan, and if you know
Mm,
Yankees fans, they expect to go to the playoffs. It's not, oh, will we go to the playoffs? They expect to do it, and I think
right.
that's what we want to get our fan base to that point where we're talking about we expect to go to the playoffs, not
Right.
oh, will we get to 500? Who cares? I want to get to the playoffs. I don't
Right.
care about 500.
That's another thing. A lot of people, like you said, talk about getting to 500. Me, it's basically the same thing as you as playoffs, but I think more of contenders. I don't want to just I don't want to be a team that gets to the playoffs. I want to be a team that can contend in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just make it and yeah, we in playoffs. I want to be able to say if my team makes it to the playoffs, I don't care if we barely made it or if we,
We going
scratched
deep.
our way into it. Yeah, I want to be a team that you say I don't want them in the playoffs, whether it's 7, 8, and 1 like the Carolina Panthers did, or if it's 10 and 14. I don't want them in the playoffs because that's a dangerous team. That's a hard team to stop. That's a hard team to match up with. That's a dangerous team. So I don't care. I really don't care about the record. I just want to be a team that's dangerous
Yeah.
anytime. It could be,
And,
and I see that. I see that. I see a team like I feel my feeling on the team is we're not on yet because we're 2-14 as of last year. But once we get on, we're gonna be ahead. We're gonna be ahead. We're gonna hit the ground running. That's how
yeah.
I feel about this.
Yeah, and the one thing, like I said, I'm excited. We've got all these new
Mm,
pieces in place. I know Dirk
yes.
Cotter's offense is new, but I think people are going to get well adjusted to it very quickly because it's a very quarterback, running back, and wide receiver friendly offense. So I
Right.
think that we will come together, and I think we'll gel pretty quick, especially if you're running a faster paced offense. Now on the defensive side of the ball, we hit our lumps. We took our lumps last season, two and
Yeah.
14, and a lot of that was I put a lot of that on the defense, giving up
Hmm.
leads. Uh, Quarterback goes off the field and we give up the lead. Quarterback struggles trying to regain the lead and it just doesn't happen because we have a mediocre quarterbacks. We had two
Hmm.
mediocre quarterbacks, as I'll put it. But ultimately, that's our goal is to get to the Super Bowl. Like we did before. And I think with a solid defense, Gerald McCoy is a cornerstone. Clint McDonald played lights out. He doesn't get enough credit for coming in,
Mm-mm.
not knowing his system, coming from a totally different system, coming into Tampa and playing well. he picked up the second half of the season. He played lights out, man, and I'm really glad that the Buccaneers were able to get him. And Altron Werner, I think you're going to see
Yeah.
big things from Altron Werner this year.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Jonathan Banks on the other side of the field. I really do believe that this Buccaneers team will contend. And, if we're getting pressure on the quarterback, I think it's going to do nothing but help the safeties and the
Mhm.
linebacking core. And I think that eventually we will all, on defense, they will all come together and gel.
Yeah. Uh, my take on the defense, I feel like you said that 2-14. I feel half of it was the defense. The first half of the season, I feel like when Mike Glennon was quarterbacking, I felt like our defense wasn't there to back him up. And I feel like once our defense finally started getting a taste of what they should be doing, that's when we put through McCown back in, and I felt like that's the other half of the reason why we were losing. But as far as what you were saying, Alteron Werner, we will see a different Alteron Werner. He actually went to my high school. I graduated like 2 years before him, which is crazy. He's like
Wow.
good friends with my homeboy's wife. Like they graduated in the same class and stuff. So I got him. I talked to him on Facebook and stuff. But yeah, you should see a different. You're gonna see a different Alteron Werner. The whole defense itself is gonna be better. Personally, I see two people having breakout years this year, that putting themselves on the map of all of the NFL. I see Jonathan Banks. I see this guy breaking out this year. I really feel like last year, his rookie year, you could tell he was getting used to the NFL. This year, he could tell he was getting used to that Tampa 2, exactly his landmarks. And you could see during the later games, he started getting those edges where he started jumping those those comeback routes.
Yeah.
This year are going to be the year when he takes those comeback routes to the house. I
Yeah.
think this is going to be the year that he jumps and makes that big jump. He's going to have a breakout year. Second player that I think is going to have a breakout year is on the offense, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Not only was he, hurt a lot last year with the back and all that stuff, but I think he's going to thrive in this cutter system.
Yeah.
And there's so much more on this defense though, that from free agency, that the different, like we were speaking before, the difference of the free agencies this year and the free agencies last year was they don't have to learn anything. They're coming from the exact same system with Marinelli, and they have no learning curve. They're just going to come in, put them in, and let's continue. They're going to gel in with us, and this defense is going to be – this is probably what I'm excited about the most, is this defense, to be honest.
Yeah.
Really excited about that.
For me, I've always been a defensive guy. Always. I love
Yeah.
the I love the secondary. I love the linebackers. I mean, that's what I like to watch when I'm watching. When I go back and rewatch a game, that's what I watch as a defense. And for
Right.
me, I'm even more excited about the offense. Dirk Cutter
Yeah.
coming in here. I mean, what else can you say? I think I was more excited about getting Dirk Cutter than I was about Lovie Smith coming in. But and that's not taking anything. That's not taking anything away
No,
from Lovie Smith at all.
I get you. I get you. I get you.
Because we
Trust me.
had one other offensive coordinator, and that was when Tony Dungy was coach, and his name was Les Steckel. Les Steckel was a
Mm,
brain when it came to the offense. That year, I know that the Buccaneers offense put up some record numbers for the team using
right.
with Sean King, and we just,
Mm,
even before that, we just hadn't had that offensive coordinator that was going to put us on the map. The one thing that I fear is that somebody's going to want to hire this guy and make him a head coach eventually, and I do see that happening. Because Dirk Carter is just he's like that. So
right.
I think this is his job interview this year. I think he's going to turn this team around. And if you're offensive coordinator and you can come in to a 2-14 team and turn them around and get them in playoff contention, it speaks volumes about your football acumen. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is our season. The last season
Yes.
was just really embarrassing. It was embarrassing for the whole NFC South, but I think that we have the talent on this team, the coaching and the administration to be better than anybody in the NFC South. We had that potential. We just have to get it all on the field and play it and make it happen.
Yeah, I I completely agree with you, man. It could be a very special season, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very exciting just to see the ball rolling, man. Just to see everything that, as you say, I'm on YouTube, just these predictions that I've been making, and and I say this about this player and this about this player, and it's like every year, since I started on YouTube, it's like 0-8 start. I'm like, really? Like all this stuff I've been saying and all these things that I see for my team, and I think that's what frustrates me the most is like I know we have talent. Like I know football. I mean, I'm not a genius, but I know talent when I see it, and I know we have talent. Why is it not translating on the field? And I feel like it's all gonna finally come together. I
But
can't see
you know what,
where.
man? You know what? You all you have to do is go back to John Gruden. After John Gruden was fired, we
Mm,
brought in Mark Dominic, who had no experience as a general manager or very limited experience as a general manager. We
mm-hmm,
had Raheem Morris, another coach who had no experience as even a coordinator. He was put into a head coaching position. That's a recipe for disaster. You couple that with
yeah.
no free agents had come into Tampa for a couple of years. No free agents of note. And finally, when we did get some in there, our Kellen Winslow Jr., we had that 10-6 season. Uh, Injuries hurt us in 2011, and after that, we were stuck with Greg Schiano, who was that was a very poor decision on everybody's part. And basically, that's just been the history. That's been the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up until now, up until last season, where we got Jason Light. And a lot of people were griping and complaining about Jason Light. But I can tell you right now, living here in Phoenix, Arizona, and seeing what he did with the administration in Phoenix, he's an amazing general manager. He was part of
Mm,
the reason that they brought in Honey Badger, and he was able to be successful here in Arizona. Despite the injuries, he's been very successful, and he's managed to stay out of trouble. Uh, I just think that he has a good eye for talent, and I think it's going to really reflect in the next couple of years. You'll really see what he's able to do. So, you just got to be patient. I'm excited every
key
year.
word is patient.
Exactly, and I know
Yes.
a lot of fans aren't with all that. I'm trying to do my part by going to at least one or two games. I know next season, 2016, will be better for all of us here on the West Coast because we're going to see a lot of West Coast games here in this
Mm.
area. So it's that time of the year where all the games are going to be here on the West Coast. I'll definitely be at the Cardinals Buccaneers game next year. I will be there. Trust and believe.
I I will probably be there too because I'm in Las Vegas and I've been
Yeah.
waiting, and my dad actually lives in Arizona,
Okay.
so I can go over there, and I've been waiting for them to go to Arizona so I can go watch them.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be there too. We'll
Yep.
click up and go over there
Oh,
for
most
sure.
definitely. We gonna tailgate, man. We'll have a good time.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
these people don't get down like they do in Tampa, but hey, it is what it is. You take what you can
As
get.
close as we can get. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So, any other thoughts? Thought about the league, how everything's going. What do you think of the rest of the NFC South? Do you think that we can compete with them? What are your thoughts?
Um. Whew. I got two sides to me. I got the Real Talk Perez side, and I got the RTP side. And that the RTP, the RTP comes out sometimes, so bear with me. That's the guy that's really likes to
Passionate.
talk trash, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I'm gonna try to stay Real Talk Perez. But this is what I see as far as the South, man. I've said in my YouTube many times, and forgive me if my phone shuts off. But I've said many times that I see the Bucks a lot. A lot of Buck fans don't even believe this, but I see the Bucks really competing. I see us in first, and this is why I see us in first. I see the Saints and the Falcons. I see them in the same position. The Falcons, I guess you can say, is rebuilding. They had a great draft, probably the best draft in the NFC South. They got Dan Quinn. I've tried to tell them because we've been through this where we don't know first-time head coaches. We never know how that's going to play out, no matter if they were the best defensive coach, this and that, whatever. You never know how a first-time head coach is going to pan out. So we don't
Right.
know how that's going to come together. They have a whole bunch of rookie defenses. It might take a year for them to get their stuff together. We don't know how Ryan's going to be without Dirk Cutter. We don't know how that offense is going to look without Dirk Cutter. Um, I'm not saying it's going to be the worst offense, but who are we sure it's going to be another top 5 offense? Like, we don't know that. Without Dirk Cutter, we don't know that. So they're kind of iffy, a lot of question marks. Saints, they lost a lot of pieces. You can tell they're going back to defense. They want to put all their chips on defense right now. Their defense could be the best defense. Their defense could be the worst defense. We never know what Rob Ryan. He's crazy.
Yeah.
You never know. Sometimes he's smart. Sometimes it's like, what are you doing? So we have no idea how that defense is going to look. Drew Brees is going to be Drew Brees. He's going to throw down the field. He's going to make weapons. We already know this. But the NFL has caught on to Sean Payton in that offense. They still throw down the field. They're not as dangerous as they used to be, where it was like you're going to have to score 30 points to even compete with this team. They're not that team no more, You've seen last year. Last year, our defense on the learning was stopping them, was holding them down on both
Right.
games. So the NFL has caught on to that Sean Payton offense. Now, the only one that I can see hitting the ground and running, like I believe the Bucs can hit the ground running this year, are the NFC defending champs, the Panthers.
There you go.
My problems with the Panthers is I feel like they're the exact same team. I feel like they didn't add nobody. They didn't address anything that they needed to in the draft as far as the weapons. I'm not too fond of their weapons. KB, that's cool. Funches that they drafted, I think it was a little bit of stretch. It's their weapons, whatever. I don't they didn't address the offensive line. One of their biggest problems. Their offensive line. It's the only thing I felt Tampa needed to do, or else we could have went 2-14 again this year if we did not address that offensive line. I felt like there was the same way. Not that they would go 2-14, but if we're talking, numbers are numbers. They were under 500. Yeah, they won the division. They went to the playoffs. They were under 500. They didn't do nothing to improve that team. I see them being, 500 or under 500 again. So in my eyes, and a lot of people don't agree with me with this, but personally, I don't see such a big whoop about Cam Newton. If you can if you can get some pressure on him, which I know for a fact this defensive line will get pressure this year on everybody, he's not he's going to kill you down the field type of dude. He overthrows a lot, and if you ruffle his feathers, if you give him pressure, he runs a lot. And, I don't see the Carolina Panthers ceilings being so high. This is why I feel like we have a great, great, great chance of not only competing in this division, but actually winning this division. I really don't see why we couldn't. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. This is how I look at things.
Oh, most definitely, man. I'm right there with you. And all you got to do is go back and look at the games that we lost. When we're losing by 3 points, losing by 2 points, losing by a point, losing by a touchdown. These are games that, had we won, we're talking 7 games on top of the 2 games that we lost. The 2 games that
Yeah.
we won, excuse me, that's 9 games right there. That's 9
Yeah.
games. And we're
I
in the
mean,
playoffs, and it
yeah.
was just
Yeah.
that close. And keep in mind, we didn't even have an offensive coordinator. We did not have an
No.
offensive coordinator. I've tried to explain this to people, and people tell me, oh, you're making excuses. No, I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you what kind of talent that this team has. If they're able to do that without an offensive coordinator, just imagine what they can do with a structured system, and you're bringing people in, and once they learn this system, hey, I'm telling you what, it's going to be scary. It's going to be
Right.
scary. And you don't,
Right.
one thing, if you're on Twitter and you listen to people, you don't hear a lot of Falcons fans talking trash about Dirk Cutter coming to Tampa. You don't hear it.
I got a lot of Falcon fans on Twitter. As you know, I'm in the TTC. We talk a lot of trash to each other. So, I follow a lot of different fan base and stuff like that, and they follow me and so and so. They try. Sometimes they try. You could tell it's a little bit of hate. Um, but it's like I don't understand how they can try to hate on Dirk Cutter so much when he just gave you guys a number 5 ranked offense. Like, how do you? I don't get it, you know.
Yeah.
But my whole thing, going back to what you were talking about, how easily we could have been 9 and 10-6, 9-7 team. I mean, we talking about the Rams game where Mike Evans faked the injury. We know that was a fake injury. He wasn't really hurt. You could tell he thought he was trying to help the team. They ran down the clock. That was our rookie kicker. He hadn't missed all year. He didn't miss except for when he got his kicks blocked. He would have made that easily. That would have been a game winner. Jonathan Banks drops the interception with Teddy Bridgewater. That would have ended the game. We would have won that game, except instead it goes into overtime. You know what else happens.
Yeah. So and as a two-win team, I would be scared if I'm another fan base. I'd be scared to face Tampa. I'm not saying this as a fan, but just looking at what this team did, and a lot of people aren't going to be paying attention. I can tell you right now, the Eagles fans aren't paying attention. The Dallas fans are not paying attention. The Giants fans are definitely not paying attention. But as I look at our schedule, each and every game we have is winnable.
Oh yeah.
Every game is winnable. I can't look at our schedule and say, "Oh man, we're going to lose that game." I can't say that about any of the teams that we're going to be facing this year. I cannot say that.
Yeah. I think last year, since we're talking about all this stuff, I think, honest to God, I think the biggest improvement that we did by millions and millions of light years far was the quarterback. Yeah. I mean, how many ridiculous interceptions did McCown throw? Not only McCown throwing ridiculous interceptions, how many points did he take away from us by throwing ridiculous interceptions in the end zone, in the red zone, I should say.
Yeah.
In the red zone. I mean, from week 1, Carolina Panthers.
I would say both. I would say both quarterbacks, to be honest. And how many 3 and outs? How many 3 and outs did you see from this totally quiet, very docile offense? How many times do you see 3 and out? You're not throwing to the sticks. I mean, the play that defined the season for me was Mike Glennon running out of bounds in front of the first down marker.
First down. Yeah.
And that just told me this guy does not want to be the starting quarterback from this team. He doesn't want it.
I mean, there's so many to me. There's so many.
But that play right there just summed up the whole season for me.
Yeah. Yeah. There's I mean, this is so many things. But I mean, last year was last year. To be honest, whatever happened. We're in such a better position right now, and
almost definitely.
I just and another thing, we had literally no run game. Like the quarterback position and our offensive line, the two most important things, and we didn't have it.
Yeah.
So now that I feel that we have, at best, Jameis Winston. I'm not saying he's gonna go out there and be, Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck.
But he's an upgrade. He's an upgrade.
He's definitely an upgrade. Okay, he's definitely an upgrade. And I'm not saying that we're gonna go over there and have a Cowboys offensive line, but we definitely got to upgrade on our offensive line. And if we could just be average on our offensive line, just get average play from our quarterback. With this defense coming for the second year and what we're gonna do, we're gonna be a problem. And that's if we're just average on our offensive line and just average on our quarterback position. If our quarterback position or our offensive line do better than average this year, we're gonna be a tough team.
No, absolutely.
We're going to be a tough team. And I don't see that impossible happening.
Yeah. And one person that we haven't really talked about today, and that's Doug Martin. Doug Martin's in a contract season. We all know that the Buccaneers didn't, do anything with this 5th year on the contract. But you know what?
Right.
He's in a contract year. And I still believe that Doug Martin can do big things. I believe that, with Schiano running him into the ground and him getting that injury was the
Mm-hmm.
start of it. And then you're coming into an offense that doesn't have an offensive coordinator. I think this is a recipe for Doug Martin to have a breakout season this season. He's got all the tools. He's got
Yeah.
a lot of things going for him right now. He's got an offensive coordinator that's gone on record saying that he loves playing. He's very excited to play or have Doug Martin on his offense. So to me,
Yeah.
those are things that are pluses. Those are things that a lot of fans aren't talking about. But I do believe that Doug Martin has quite a bit left to prove, especially to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh yeah, a lot of another thing that I've noticed. Well, not every, but I've seen a couple fans that were saying, oh, we need Adrian Peterson and this and that, and we need a running back, and we have running backs. Okay, Doug Martin. We've seen what he did his rookie year. People think, oh, it was a one-hit wonder. That's not what it was. I called this the second year. I called it. I watched it. It happened in preseason. I don't know if you remember. Preseason, we're playing against the New England Patriots. Doug Martin went for a block during preseason. He hit whoever that linebacker was. He hit his knee with his helmet, gave him a concussion. Ever since that preseason game, Doug Martin that whole year was not running the same. He did a lot of try to juke and a lot of, trying to cut back and just like try to fake people out. That's not what got Doug Martin to be Doug Martin year one. Year
Right.
one, he went full speed ahead and bounced off of people. You
Right.
know, and that second year, I don't know if it was that concussion. I feel like it was that concussion that made him not want to take contact anymore. But he did a lot of juking, and he was not the same.
Right.
Last year, I didn't see a lot of the juking, but I still didn't see the same Doug Martin. But towards the middle and towards the end of the year, you started seeing glimpses of the old Doug Martin. You started seeing him hit that hole really hard
Yeah,
and
like
going
against the
full
Saints.
throttle. Yes, he was the old Doug Martin. And I was like, could we have a rebirth of like if we can get this, because we know that line was terrible. They had
Yeah.
no chance.
Yeah.
All of our running backs had no chance. I mean, if we can get Doug Martin back, and I truly believe, even if Doug Martin comes back, I truly believe Charles Sims is the future of our running back core.
Oh, most definitely. Charles
Yes.
Sims has nice hands. We
Oh.
didn't get to see a whole lot of it last year because he was injured over half of the season. But I guarantee you, watch for this man and watch how
Hmm.
they use him. Speed in space. They talked about that with Jeff Tedford. You're going to see speed in space with this kid because
Oh
he's
yeah.
going to. He's got very deceptive speed, and once he gets out
Yes.
in the open, he will run over people. So,
And
it's
he
something.
and he his cutbacks were getting better and better. That they drafted him saying Lovie Smith's trying to get that next Matt Forte. He was looking. I'm not saying he is. He was looking like it during the later part of the seasons. His cutbacks in the lanes were getting better and better. You can tell he
Yeah.
was getting used to the NFL, man. If he
Yeah.
this running back core and Bobby Rainey has the fumble problems and this and that, but let me just say you don't have the year before when we were with Greg Schiano, you don't have three different running backs have 100-yard games for nothing.
Right.
That don't just happen because of nothing.
Right.
And Mike James, Bobby Rainey, Doug Martin, they all got hurt, but they all was balling at
They were
that
balling.
one year. They were all balling. This year, all of a sudden, it's one bad year, and people say, "Oh, we have no running backs." Do you not see our line? Our line is just being crushed. We have
Yeah.
no line to run the ball, But
And
it's
I
going to
don't
be a
know if
different story this year.
and I don't know if you saw it the last 3 games of the season. I
Mm.
started seeing certain players on the Buccaneers offensive line that were holding their blocks like they should. I won't say
Right.
everybody, because there's a couple of people that really made me sick to my stomach just watching them, like O'Neal Cousins, for instance, which
Mm.
I still to this day don't know how that guy got on this team. But back to my point, there were some players that actually were holding their blocks. I'm excited for Mankins coming back.
Oh
Dodson,
yes,
I'm
he has a
excited
chip
for
on his shoulder. Mankins
yeah.
has a chip on his shoulder.
And I
Yeah.
think that what Mankins brings to this team is that leadership for that offensive line core. Those rookies,
Oh yes.
they're going to learn from a champion, and they're going to see how it's done. And
Yes.
you cannot pay for that. That's something you can't pay for. You either got it there or you don't got it there.
Yeah. And to have two young offensive linemen, and Dotson's not old.
No,
Dotson's
no.
Dotson's yeah, he plays like he's a veteran, but he's a youngster too.
Yeah,
To have that offensive line together, starting at this age, like to grow together, we're gonna have an
it's
offensive
gonna be
line for
it's
years to
gonna be
come.
amazing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Smith, and Ali Marpet. I'm excited for these guys. I
Oh.
really am. You're talking about guys that excelled in the what was it, the Senior Bowl that Ali
Mm-hmm.
Marpet protected the quarterback so good that there were no sacks on his side. That speaks volumes, and it's hard to
Big
believe
time.
it speaks volumes, and it's hard to believe that he dropped so far in the draft. I ain't complaining. I think that
Mm-mm.
I think that Lovey Smith and Jason Light did their homework. And the one thing that I've been saying since the offseason, low risk, high reward, low risk,
Right.
high reward, and that's what you've been seeing. All these
Yes.
free agents, all these free agents, plug and play free agents that are coming in here, they're going to do good. They're going to do
Yeah.
good because they know the system. You can plug them in and they know what to do. You go
Right.
back to you go. I hate to keep going back to last season, but you look at Deshaun Golston and you look at Mark Barron. They were getting smoked like Cohibas
Oh.
every single down. I mean, they couldn't cover anybody. And you know what? The offensive coordinator on the other side of the field knew that too. And
Mm-hmm.
I look at Mark Barron. You know where Mark Barron is now? He's not playing for the Rams because they cut him.
They cut. Oh man, I didn't know they cut him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all these moves that the Buccaneers have made, it really makes Lovie Smith look so much better. I mean, I go
Right.
back to the whole Greg Hardy thing when people were crying and complaining and everybody was upset that the Buccaneers walked away from getting Greg Hardy. I was frustrated at first, but then I
Me
started
too.
thinking about
Me
it,
too.
and I'm like, you know what, man? There's got to be something to it. There's got to be something to it. And now I look at this dude, and I didn't realize that they had that 10-game suspension hanging over his head. And how do we know his attitude wasn't cancerous and it would have brought the locker room down had they brought him in here? Because I personally think the guy's a little nuts.
He already got into it with one of the guys in the Cowboys locker room.
Right. And
So
that's what I'm
you know.
saying. These moves are really making our head coach and general manager look smart with what they're doing.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about the moves that and the ownership. I go back to the ownership, and we have a good ownership. I don't care what anybody says. I get sick of certain fans making comments about how bad our ownership is. Our ownership did what they had to do. They brought a
Right.
Super Bowl to Tampa, and here they are building this team up, allowing the general manager and the head coach to do what they need to do, and they're staying
Yes.
hands off. And that's
Right.
a good ownership right there.
Yeah. As far as what you were saying about the free agents, I think before it was we were bringing free agents saying, "Come to Tampa, come win us games, come be a playmaker, come do come do that." Now we're not doing that. We dropped Deshaun Golson, we dropped Mark Barron. Is it crazy that we bring in McDougal and this guy's already made more of an impact for this franchise than Barron has his whole career in Tampa. I mean, McDougal got to what, 2 interceptions already?
Right,
Like this guy already came in and already has put not a big fingerprint, but he already has his fingerprints on this team. And Mark
right.
Barron has been with us for what, 3 4 years, 3 years I think, or 4 years,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, we see him
And
here and there, you know.
and what we can go back and hindsight's 2020, and I just think that where we're headed right now is very positive. We've got some players. I don't see any high risk players. I think that
Mm-mm.
Jameis Winston with Gerald McCoy and Vincent Jackson doing things in the community, and Derek Brooks doing things in the community. I just don't see him getting into trouble if he's around the right kind of people. And
Right.
I think that all of the immaturities behind him. I do think that he will be somewhat of a risk taker on some plays, and they may be questionable. But this is a guy I want to see him in the fourth quarter when the chips are down and see what he's all about.
Mm.
If it's anything
Yeah.
like if it's anything like it was at Florida State, we've got a good thing here.
We're in good hands. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm not so quick to say that his immaturity is over with. I'm still nervous about that. I can't lie, but I honestly, to be honest, I really think that this guy is such a competitor. I think that he wants to win so bad. And that's what I love. I love that he wants to win. It's not just he wants the fame and he wants all this. This dude is a competitor.
Yeah.
He loves to win. It's not just the fame that comes with it. He wants to win. He wants to be in the record books. He wants to have the championships. He wants that. And I think I'm praying, I should say, that the taste of the NFL, once he gets his taste of the NFL, that he gets so addicted to winning, so addicted to wanting to be the best, that he makes sure he doesn't do nothing stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm praying, that
But
he
yeah,
gets so addicted to it that that's all he focuses on and not the outside world,
yeah. And it's up to the Buccaneers to set him up for success.
Right.
That means getting him partnered up with veterans, getting them partnered up with people that are part of the community, and that goes back to what I'm saying. I believe everybody deserves a second chance. And
Yeah, of course.
I look at the things he did in college. I've done worse. I already told you I've done worse. And I can tell you right now, I've never spent a night in jail. And you know what? The light bulb came on, and I knew I had to do the right thing, and that's what I've done. So
Yeah.
I think that that game, the Clemson game for Jameis Winston, when they took him out of the game and he was unable to play and he had to watch his team play, I think that had such a profound effect on him. I think that opened his eyes to a lot of stuff. The one thing that I've heard in a lot of his interviews is that he's really watching what he does, because he knows that a lot of people are watching him. So I think he gets it, and I can only hope and pray that he surrounds himself with positive people that will help keep him out of trouble as well.
Yeah, him doing that photo of him eating the crabs shows that he still needs to learn maturity. Him taking it down without anybody asking shows that he gets it, though. It shows
Yeah.
that he knows that he needs to. He might not see it, but he knows, like, oh, you know what? I slipped up.
Did you
Okay, I
see
learned from that.
did you see the interview talking about the whole picture on Instagram?
No, I didn't see that.
Basically, there was a guy or a company that catered all the crab legs for his Super Bowl or his draft party. And
Right, yeah.
if you read the bottom caption, I think his name was Captain John or Captain Ron, something like that. He was
Yeah,
actually giving a shout out to this dude. I know it was wrong.
yeah.
A lot of people might think it was wrong. I personally thought it was hilarious. I took a picture with me eating
Right, right,
crab. I took a picture with me eating some crab legs on draft night. So
right,
that's it's just how you look at things, how you perceive it.
right.
And
Yeah,
I honestly believe, man, that this guy gets it. Like you said,
yeah,
but I think he gets it, and I don't think that he'll be the one to watch out for. I look at Cam Newton. Cam Newton had the thing with the laptops. Cam Newton
yeah.
was under investigation. There's questions about Cam Newton. But you look at
Hmm.
Cam Newton right now. He's not been on the news other than the accident he had. He has not been in trouble with the NFL. He's never had to go see Roger Goodell. None of that. I think that
Right.
people can change. And I think that he's on the same path as a Cam Newton to come in and prove all the doubters wrong.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is once again, Real Talk Perez is a big theory type dude. So yeah, this is another theory of mine. Okay, this is another theory of mine. I've always said I don't, Cam Newton to me personally is overrated, whatever, whatever, whatever. But Cam Newton is to me the LeBron James of the NFL. By that I mean he doesn't have to do too much, and still for some reason people are like, oh, Cam Newton this and Cam Newton that. Cam has a big face for the NFL, right?
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Cam Newton is in our division because not only because I feel like we can take advantage of his team now because he's quarterbacking for them, but I'm so glad he's a quarterback in our for the Panthers in our division because I feel like that's going to push Winston to be better than Cam Newton, to be a bigger face than Cam Newton, to be more popular than Cam Newton. It's going to push him to want to top Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And
yeah.
I feel like if he wasn't, like, let's say Cam Newton was somewhere else, and let's just say Mike Glennon was as good as Cam Newton, but he has the same type of status that he has now, which is
Yeah.
he's not really known as anybody, and he played for Carolina Panthers. You got Drew Brees, Mike Glennon, and Matt Ryan.
Right.
You bring in a high profile like Jameis Winston, he's already more high profile than all three of those guys, right? He
Right.
really doesn't have anything to prove to anybody because it's like, I'm a high profile, whatever. Everyone thinks I'm better than you anyways. But having Cam Newton in the division is like, oh, Cam Newton, you're equal to me. I want to show that I'm better than you. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's just a theory, but to me, I feel like I'm glad that he's in our division. Gives him something to accomplish, to
Yes.
overtake a
Yeah.
goal. I like that. So
Yeah.
there's a
Most
lot of there's a
definitely,
lot of
man.
things about him that I'm just so ready for this season, man. I'm so ready for this
Yeah,
season.
man.
It's
Well, hey, man, it's almost been an hour already. I know it's hard to believe. I
yeah,
really enjoyed you being on the show, and I'm gonna have to get you back again. Uh, Thank you for taking the time to give us your thoughts. Once
right.
again, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube / Real Talk Perez, Twitter @Real Talk Perez. All of it's one word. Facebook is Facebook / Real Buccaneers. Real quick before we go, last draft pick, Joey Alasofi, or how you say it?
Yes.
Joey Alosofa, something like that.
Lasofa,
Anyways,
yeah.
Buck fans, yes, Buck fans, go check him out. He's a big running back. He's like 240 something, 247, I think. Big running back from Hawaii. He is going to be our fullback. The guy can catch, the guy can block, the guy can run. He's a great guy. I didn't want to leave him out. Going to be a very great, vital piece to our run game. And just wanted to give him a quick shout out. People, please, let's get ready for the season, man. Let's get ready
Yeah.
for the season.
Yeah.
So,
So can I count on you getting on the show here
oh,
in the near future?
all I want to do is talk Bucks, man. That's it. I don't care. Anytime, man. You got my number. Call me. We get it in. And no problem.
All right,
No
man.
problem.
Hey, we're gonna have to go to a game. I will be going to the Atlanta Falcons game in
Mhm.
Atlanta. That's the away game for the Bucks, and I'm trying to figure out which Bucks game I want to catch in Tampa. So I'll
Okay.
definitely be getting at you. As the season, as we get closer to training camp and stuff, I'll
Right.
definitely be getting at you too. I would like to make a couple of trips to Tampa for training camp just to check everything out, like on a
Oh, that'd be
Saturday, fly
tight.
back on a Sunday. So I'm gonna get at you. Thank you so much for being on the show, and everybody, thanks for watching my show. I appreciate it. Tell your friends about us. Check us out. You can catch me at Super Heavyweight on Twitter. I am putting the article together for Carolina Cat Chronicles. One of my partners over there. I hate your team, but I love the guys. It's a good situation, man. They show me
Yeah.
love. I'm gonna show them love. All right, everybody. Peace.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.